Months of aftershocks could follow big California earthquake. Ridgecrest, California. APU official, no fatalities or major injuries were reported after Friday night's 7.1 magnitude earthquake, which jolted an area from Sacramento to Mexico and prompted the evacuation of the Navy's largest single land holding, Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake in the Mojave Desert. The quake struck at 8:19 p.m. Friday and the light damage was largely due to the remoteness of the area where the earthquake occurred, but Government Gavin Newsom he estimated more than $100 million in economic damages and said President Donald Trump called him to offer federal support in the rebuilding effort. Only 28,000 people live in the Ridgecrest area, which is sandwiched between more populated areas of Southern California and Las Vegas Clark County. But seismologist April Hamlin said she was already. But with the possibility of aftershocks and temperatures forecast to reach 100 degrees 38 Celsius over the next several days, officials were taking precautions. The California National Guard was sending 200 troops, logistical support, and aircraft. Major General Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake said in a Facebook post that non-essential workers were evacuated and operations halted. The epicenters of the California Office of Emergency Services brought in cots, water, and meals and set up cooling centers in the region, Director Mark Ghilarducci said. State highway officials shut down a 30-mile 48-kilometer section of State Route 178 between Ridgecrest and the town of Trona southwest of Death Valley because of a rockslide and severe cracking. The move left Ron Mikuleko, 51, and his nephew, 23-year-old Brad Fernandez, stood on 178 on Saturday looking at the cracks. The pair drove from In Ridgecrest, local fire and police officials said they were initially swamped by calls for medical and ambulance service. But Police Chief 2 building fires one involving a mobile home were quickly doused, McLaughlin said, and natural gas lines where leaks were reported were shut off. When asked to describe what he has been going through in the past 2 days, the chief said grief. In Trona, a town of about 2,000 people considered the gateway to Death Valley, fire officials said up to 50 structures were damaged. San Bernardino, Julia Doss, who maintains the Trona Neighborhood Watch page on Facebook, said the only food store in town is a Family Dollar store that was shuttered Saturday. Antown Abdul Latif, 59, owns liquor stores and other businesses in Ridgecrest and Trona. But he has stopped cleaning up, believing another earthquake is on the way. Lucy Jones, a seismologist at the California Institute of Technology and a former science advisor at the U.S. Geological Survey, said the new quake probably ruptured along about 25 miles 40 kilometers of fault line and was part of a continuing sequence. The seismic activity. Egil Haukson, another Caltech seismologist, said later in the day that scientists believe the continuing sequence could produce more than 30,000 quakes of magnitude 1 or greater over 6 months. He said the probability. Anchak reported from Los Angeles. Nguyen reported from. Search for location/city.
Raindrops, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot bar. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.